Okay, you're live on.
All right, well, here we are again. Aloha and welcome to Mystic Wisdom with Wayne Kealohi Powell here on the Garden Island, the island of Kauai, in the middle of the largest ocean in the world, in the state of Hawaii. And I'm welcoming everyone who's seeing this podcast today. Today's the day we give attention and respect and honor to all the fathers on the planet. And there'll be multi-level fathers, we've got our physical father, and then we've got our spiritual father. And so, with that, I'm going to play a little tune in honor of all fathers, seeing as how it is that day to do so. This is a hand pan drum made in Russia. So if you want to make this a meditation, you can tune in, close your eyes, open your breath. Hope, would you just let everybody in so I'm not distracted, please? Okay, thank you, Hope. Welcome everybody to Father's Day here on Kauai and everywhere it's being celebrated. So close your eyes, start breathing deep, and let these notes drift into your consciousness as a blessing towards all fathers. Father, to your Father, and to the great Father in the sky. We love you. Breathe deep love in from above as light and share it in your heart with all your fathers, spiritual and physical, and surrogate. Whatever that principle is for you, breathe in love and share it.
Good morning.
Yes, it is a great morning. And we are blessing the principle of Father today, as we did in an earlier podcast. But today, I'd like to share a little bit of a story of a couple of things that's happened to me this week. Yes, let's see. Who else is in the house? Okay. Michael, CL, Christine. All right. Welcome, guys. So it's funny how people don't even realize that they have father issues till they get in a relationship of some kind that reflects that. And I know I didn't realize I had father issues for a long time. It kind of snuck up on me. But as far as being a father, that's where the issues really became alive. Yeah, it was really great when the kids were young and so playful. And it reflected that child in me, and it was so amazing how um, I just loved playing with them. As I said in an earlier podcast, I was home quite a lot because the first two boys were born on farms, and I was the farmer, creating a great crop of cannabis for the community. But nevertheless, it was so much fun spending time with them. And then we moved to Hawaii in 1988, 37 years ago, July. And we got pregnant again and had our third son here. But what we left behind when we came to Hawaii was all of our babysitters. Yeah, the boys were really attached to the grandma on my wife's side because they were always in the kitchen cooking with her. But nevertheless, my job had changed. Couldn't be a farmer here in Hawaii. So I had to reinvent the wheel in regards to, creating income. Long, long time ago. I think 17 years old I was when I realized I couldn't work for other people. I was way too much of a control freak. So I just started inventing things to do. And I just kept creating all kinds of arts and crafts and gardens. I had a business called Wayne's Indoor Gardens, bringing tropicals from North County, San Diego into Century City, Los Angeles, and filling a lot of those offices with fresh oxygen in the form of giant tropical plants. I had my first entrepreneur business when I got to California was called Belts, Bags, and Bones, and I was carving out of elk and deer antler um, pipes and roach clips. This is in the 70s. And I was using French rabbit fur to create these beautiful purses um, with braided suede handles. And we used to go to the swap meet and early in the morning, LA, and set up shop there. And we did well. But when we got to California, I mean to Hawaii, when we got to Hawaii, it was became extremely challenging to recreate the wheel here. So I got a job as a carpenter, and that lasted for a little while. I was also working for Serge King in his office there. That lasted for a while as well. But then I saw a need on the North Shore of Kauai here for a video store because when we moved here, I was looking for videos for my kids to watch for Christmas. We moved in July, and here it was November, and I'm walking around Princeville looking for Miracle on 34th Street or It's a Wonderful Life or, all those great Christmas movies that were classics. We had very young kids. And I remember I'm asking all the owners in Shopping Village in Principal, where can I find videos, from my kids? And they said, well, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anything options here. So go to the dive shop. I think they have some videos there. I was thinking, dive shop? That's weird. I was in the hood. I didn't know the shopping village very well. So I walked into the dive shop and I says to the guy, I don't see any videos in here. Can you tell me why people are sending me here to rent VHS videos? And he looked around the store very carefully, and then he pulls out from under the counter this giant folio, and he opens it, and sure enough, it's all triple X movies. And I was like, no, I'm looking for Christmas movies for my children. He was like, oh, no, no. There's nothing like that available. So he put the book away. And I went to my accountant and for the video store um, idea of like, we should really start a video store in Kauai. And he says, well, do some research on that. Says, I'm willing to entertain the idea. So I got a clipboard, a piece of paper, and I stood at the lighthouse entrance in Kilauea, where the tourists come to go look at this beautiful lens that they brought from France in the 1700s for this lighthouse. And I would ask everybody as they came in, can you give me a couple minutes of your time? Just got a couple questions for you. Where are you staying? And how long are you staying? And would you like to see some good movies while you're here? So I took the data after doing this for a couple of days to my accountant, and it was proof for sure that everybody said, yes, 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 we want movies. So I opened a video store on Kauai, and it was the very first video store. It was a year before Blockbuster, which is very cool. But the North Shore had never seen any television reception at all because what was coming through the airwaves did not go through the mountain or around the mountain west of Hanalei. So those folks, some of them had TVs, but they didn't have any reception. So I opened the video store and it was a big hit. It was a huge hit. It was called Room Service Videos because my idea was to serve pizza and videos, take them door to door and deliver them. Well, come to find after a couple of months of trying this idea, it didn't quite work well because there was so much liability and people not returning them and we have to go get them and all that. So we dropped the idea and it became just Hanalei video and music. Make a long story short, first couple of years, I found building the store and for the community and myself and my family, I was working beginning 60 and then 70 and then 80 hours a week. Yes, being the provider for the expense that it costs to live here and for my family. And over a couple of years, it wiped me out. It took me down big time. I wasn't living my dream anymore. I was living obligation. And I want to give a shout out to all dads that can relate to this because, I was doing my best and it was enough in some dimensions but I wasn't getting my needs met anymore. Just I felt like instead of, driving the wagon train, I was pulling it. And and sure enough, took a couple years and I actually needed some surgery um, in my nose and had to go to Oahu for that. They didn't have a good surgeon here. Yeah, my life just started to crash into a nightmare until finally I had a breakdown on every single level of my life. I couldn't even work anymore. I just got ejected right out of all the roles with an emotional and mental breakdown. And in fact, I couldn't even be on Kauai. I was such a wreck. I couldn't even talk to people. It was a really hard time for me and for the whole family. And yeah, so recovering from that, it took quite a while. And I noticed that I was living on Molokai, trying to piece my life back together. This was in 95. Yeah, I had the breakdown late in 94. And then 95, I was there. And then finally left Molokai to live in Canada in January 96. But in that time, I was so broken. I was so broken. I couldn't help myself or anyone else. And being such a control freak that I am, that didn't, that was not comfortable at all. Because I usually have enough energy for myself and everyone in my community and my family. That was my pattern that I was running. More than enough energy, just a powerhouse of energy. And I wasn't meditating at the time. I wasn't doing yoga. I don't believe I was drinking a lot of coffee. It's just, I was just this amazing power plant of energy. So when that broke, when that went down, I I couldn't find myself. And here I am on Molokai in the 90s and just really just in tears all the time, broken, trying to study A Course in Miracles. That's when the book came to me. One of my people I was working with, I had hired in my store. She brought me this book. She said, "Look, this is the manual for divorce, bankruptcy with three children. So get on it." So I started studying it alongside Huna. Uh, and those are the processes that I'm sharing with you now. Process of forgiveness, Kahuna Science, and A Course in Miracles. So that's when my journey began as healing myself. But this father thing, it crushed me. And I know there's nothing outside of myself, and I'm taking full responsibility for all my choices. And I really don't have any regrets because all of this, it made me who I am today, which I'm really happy with, and a lot of people are really happy with, who are riding in my Uber healing wagon. So, but the point being that fathers, you know, I had to connect to the cosmic father to pull myself out of the bottom. I mean, I was in a hole as deep as I could ever imagine existed. And the pain was completely overwhelming on every single level. And so I found myself walking on the beach in Molokai at night and, trying to pacify, trying to feel a little bit okay or peaceful with all that I was going through. And I was smoking a lot of pot and just feeling even deeper into the pain. And I found myself screaming at God, walking on the beach alone late at night. Why me? Why? Why this? Why does this have to happen? You know, why so much pain in the world? What is this about? And I've never told this story before, so it's quite tender for me to share it. But the memories are very strong, and I see how in the last 30 years, um, I've done a lot of healing in that regard in the father issue. And now I'm connected so deeply and so spiritually, romantically, if there is such a thing, connected to the Cosmic Father as the creator of all. there is, as the source of all there is, which is creation itself. So, had a couple experiences here that really helped give me a metaphor for this talk. And it had to do with cleaning because my story on Molokai was all about cleaning. And I didn't know what I was cleaning because I was just swallowed by the pain. And I didn't even know that I was cleaning. I was trying to do the exercises in A Course in Miracles, and they were working to a very small percentage because I was so broken, it was really hard to focus. So this last week, now I've had this carpet in my house. Let's talk about cleaning for a bit. And because we want to clean this father issue, if we can today, a little bit more than we did in the Healing Your Father Wound video. It's very good, by the way. There's a good meditation in there if you want to go check it out on YouTube. So I've had this indoor outdoor carpet in my house on the tile floor, and it wasn't long enough. I needed 11 feet by 6 feet for the massage table to be comfortable, and this carpet was only 8 by 6. So I put two layers on, overlapping, like like that, so that I could stretch the 11 feet. Well, I've lived here for 5 months, and I've noticed every now and then there'd be maggots just kind of appearing on the carpet. I didn't see any flies, and there's no open trash. So it really was bugging me. Where are the maggots coming from? And so I'd get the vacuum. We've got this power vacuum. It's one of those wet, dry industrial vacuums. And it's the only vacuum in the house. And I would vacuum a couple times a week and move the maggots, just suck them right out of the carpet. And they would disappear for a couple weeks. And then they would appear again. And I would vacuum, they'd disappear for a couple weeks, and then they would appear again. And this, to me, it reminds me so much of some of the negative programming that keeps reappearing in our lives, in our minds, that is kind of yucky. I'd say it's just not very progressive or positive or joyful type patterns and thought patterns that we run. So 5 months of this going on, and sometimes it would disappear for like weeks. I mean, like 3 weeks. I'm like, oh wow, they're all gone. The eggs are gone. Blah blah blah. And this is very much a metaphor for how we think we're doing with our healing process, the very various relationships that are happening inside of us. So finally, I had this revelation of, you know what? I'm not doing a lot of massage these days. Um, I wonder what it would like be just have the tile floor exposed. It's a beautiful tile floor. And so I started rolling up the top layer of carpet after vacuuming the maggots that were on the top layer. Unbelievable. There was another layer. The maggots were coming through here, but in between the two layers, there was quite a few maggots. So this layer went, rolled it up, vacuumed this layer, then started to roll up this layer, and sure enough, on the bottom of that layer, more maggots. So all the maggots and all the carpets are gone now. And yeah, so think about this for a minute in regards to cleaning up things in your life. How many times do we feel like, something has been cleaned or washed thoroughly, and it's just another layer? and we know about this. So many of our teachers and so many systems, they talk about how healing is in layers. But each time I vacuumed the maggots, I believed they were gone and they wouldn't come back. That was my intention. It's the same with all these nagging thoughts from the ego that just keep coming back and telling us, we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we don't know enough, we're not ready. For what? For anything. To be wealthy, to have the relationship we've always wanted, to have that new car, um, whatever it is, to have a baby, to be a father. What is it like to get ready to be a father? You can read all the books in the world, but I'm one of these guys who is like hands-on training, everything I've learned. So, yeah, yeah. Now, here's another metaphor. When I moved in here, there were giant holes in the screens that have redwood louvers. There's three windows with redwood louvers. Um, they're on the bottom of these glass windows that you see, and there were like holes like this big in them, and I didn't notice that until I found big chunks, bites out of my bananas and my avocados sitting on the on on the island where I keep my fruit in a bowl. So I talked to the landlord, and she said, "Well, I've been here 20 years, and haven't had any complaints like that. Must be rats." Then I started checking the windows, and I saw how they were getting in through those giant holes. So once again, when we find something inside of us that needs cleaning, something that's nagging us, something that we know is not clean, not pono, as they'd say in Hawaiian, what do? You know, we didn't want to kill the rats, they're just like squirrels, just in a different form. Cousins to the squirrels we love so much who are in the trees. So we went through this process, and it took 3 months because the landlord she knew that the rats could easily just, poke through the screens again and get back inside. So when we got the new screens, we had someone come over from an exterminator company, walk around the yard, and I knew that in the roots of this ginger that's growing outside one of the windows, that there was a nest in there because the dead leaves were this thick laying on top of the roots. And sure enough, he stood and he looked out the window, the exterminator, and he says, "Yep, you got to cut that ginger all the way to the earth." And sure enough, when we did, the rats went everywhere. So the process again. Okay. So then we got the screens fixed. And I'm able to open the windows again and let the trade winds in, keep things cool. And then what happened last week, I left the sliding glass door open with the screen door closed. And it's one of those screen doors that is made of nylon and it has the magnets, and it just clicks and closes, right? So I got up in the morning and I looked at the door and I was like, oh no. Because on the counter where the fruit bowl is, the bananas were half eaten. And so I started this whole thing again with cleaning. Yeah. Now, that's what they call the process in the book Zero Limits for Ho'oponopono. Cleaning, cleaning, erasing and cleaning, right? So, I thought, okay, we're going to make sure and close all the doors, lock them. And I did close the windows because, and actually, I left the windows open, but I left the fruit out again with the door locked. And sure enough, I get up and the bananas are eaten again. So now it appears like there's a rat living in the house. And in locking the door, I'm keeping the rat in because I saw the rat. I saw the rat. Yeah, it was not cool. So, dealing with all the issues that I have around cockroaches and rats and centipedes and other just, creatures here just like us. But finally, to get out because I stopped feeding. Now, here's the crust of the story. I stopped feeding the rats. I started covering the fruit bowl with a heavy plate and just waiting. And sure enough, now there's a giant hole in the screen for the rat to get out. Yeah. So, the moral of the story, which I discovered works really well, stop feeding the rats, stop feeding the maggots, which are a metaphor for our ego-driven thoughts. Now breathe that in. Because when I stop feeding them, they aren't there. So, what does feeding an ego-driven thought look like? You kind of allow it to control your actions. You kind of allow it to control your judgments and your assumptions about yourself and others. That's feeding those thoughts that are not true. Because you, who is light, who is love, who is this cosmic angel in a body, uh, you don't have those thoughts. That part of you that is the mind, living in the mind of God, the mind of God living in you, it doesn't have those thoughts. Those thoughts are the truth. Those are the thoughts that represent who we are before we come into the body and who we are when we leave the body. Light, love, in action, just like the wind blowing constantly. Those are the thoughts that are real because they're permanent. They don't change. They don't expire. They had no beginning. And when your soul was born, it is my projection that you were gifted with eternal life. And that means you, me, us have access to those thoughts that say we are worthy, we are innocent, we've always been innocent. Whatever we think we've done wrong was a dream. In the curriculum of living in the now, which is a lot of teachings, besides A Course in Miracles and Kahuna Science, Eckhart Tolle made a whole career out of living in the moment. And all the teachers, all the masters are teaching that as well, because that is where we have access to heaven. No past, no future, no agenda, floating on the wind of love, activating our soul's authority to perform, to live, not perform, to live our gifts that we were given, to share with our community, with our families, and to grow ourselves. Those are the thoughts that keep us in heaven here on earth, regardless of what Trump is doing or what's going on in Europe or Gaza. I mean, there's so much pain in the world. It's a choice to become the polarity, to be part of the community that balances that energy um, with goodness, which is the meaning of Pono. If you look up the word Pono, the first meaning is goodness. And also aloha, the word aloha, one of the first meanings is grace. Grace, goodness, kindness. A lot more of that in the world. A lot more of that in my life, in my presence, in my meditations, in all of my relationships. This is what's healing. Not dwelling on the past, thinking that, there's still maggots. Thinking that there's still things I have to atone for, and those maggots are there because I was not a good person. No, that's not it. When you overcome the ruling of the ego mind, life becomes so much more joyful. When you don't have to, you know, believe in karma, that you have something to pay for because you did something wrong. No, no. See, that's the game of religion. Religion has created leverage over millions of people by issuing opportunities for tremendous guilt. So if you're not shameful, if you're not full of guilt, then you can't be saved. You need to be saved. And the new technology of living in the moment, um, putting aside what went before as being done, doesn't need closure. Nope. Move on. Closure's an ego game. And 90 some odd percent of the world is playing the ego's game. So it's good to acknowledge what's going on and respect it. There's nothing wrong with the ego's game. We turn those patterns and those thoughts to the truth. That's the game of enlightenment. That's that's the game we're playing to become closer to experiencing the peace and joy that were given us when our soul was born. Truly, we were born in innocence. Breathe that in. Say it to yourself. And let's have a meditation. Yeah, let's open this up. So let's get comfortable and open your crown center, the chakra just above your head. Imagine there's a cone of swirling light just above you, pouring into you as you inhale. Now, given the fact that heaven is an inside job, I still want you to extend that idea to a heavenly Father. Call it sky if you like, call it infinity if you like, call it universe if you like, but extend that Father concept as you breathe that loving, unconditionally loving Creator into your body through your crown. And what's pouring into us is the gift of unconditional acceptance unconditional kindness, unconditional innocence. Our cosmic Father sees nothing for us to forgive. Our cosmic Father sees only our original and eternal innocence as light in a body. Let's breathe that in. And let it pour over you like a warm blanket of light as you breathe it in. Feeling it cleanse all your thought patterns of lack, insufficiency, not enoughness, unworthiness. Have this warm blanket of infinite love envelop all the ego's thinking, shrinking it to nothing. Breathing this light into every cell of your body, every thought you've ever had and you ever will have. Cosmic Father, pour into us eternal forgiveness. Pour into us the light that is not physical, that never goes out, has no beginning and no end. Pour into us a thought adjuster as the Holy Spirit. To move our attention from ego-driven thinking into love, into the truth of our being. I dedicate now my process of life to bring all ego thoughts to the truth. Say that with me. I dedicate my life process to bring all egoic thoughts, judgment, unworthiness, insufficiency, procrastination, to the truth that I am infinitely abundant, infinitely receiving what is permanently true. Love. That I am loving, I am loved, I am lovable, and I am free. Let's say it again. I am loved. Breathe it in. I am lovable. I am loving. I am love. And I am free to be me, to share my light with all those that I care for, and even those who I don't care for. Treating my brothers and sisters as myself. What would I want to give and receive in the same moment? There's a good question. What if you could only, what if you could decide to only give what you're receiving in any given moment to everyone using your thoughts, which are very powerful? All right, let's continue this meditation with a second round. Repeat after me. I love myself deeply. Breathe it in from the Cosmic Father, light, love. Again, I love myself deeply. I forgive myself for everything. As you have shown me my innocence, I trust and surrender to the light of my soul to guide me in the ways of loving kindness to myself and others. Thank you, God, for this blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In this prayer meditation, we pay honor and respect to our Cosmic Father, sourcing with our Cosmic Mother all of creation. So there's a balance in the masculine and feminine frequencies, essences in the world, in our bodies, in our thoughts. Thank you for this blessing. Thank you, thank you. And I want to thank all my teachers. There have been so many over the years. They each gave me a piece of the puzzle of what I'm calling forgiveness technology and kahuna science. And God bless Jesus for bringing forward A Course in Miracles through Helen Schuckman. An amazing curriculum. The lesson for today, giving and receiving are the same. Through the principle of oneness, through the spirit channel, they are not separate. As we give, we receive. And you know, it's funny. I heard this from a Hawaiian kahuna in 1987. I was shooting a video of Abraham Kawai, and he said, "You are the giver, you are the receiver, and you are that which is given every moment of your life." You are the giver, you are the receiver. You are that which is given every moment of your life. Breathe that in. There's the golden rule again and again. Keeps showing up. We know it's true, but are we running the pattern of its truth? What are you giving to your friends, family, relatives, significant other? Where this shows up so clearly for me is with pets, house pets, especially dogs, which is God spelled backwards. There's an instant return on most dogs. Cats are another story. But yeah, when you pet a dog, when I pet a dog, I feel an instant return of gratitude. It's like a boomerang, just comes right back. It's all in the same moment. Beautiful. So overlay that into all your relationships. Try that just for one day. I challenge you. That's your homework for this week. For one day, only give to everyone what you want to receive. Now, here's the catch. You can't give it with an agenda to receive it. It won't work. You can't play those games with creation. No. You have to give it openly without expecting to receive because it may come back to you in another form from someone else. See, the ego's game thinks, okay, I'm going to give this to so and so, and I'm going to see if this is true and see what they give back to me. The ego can try and function spiritual concepts, but it never works. It's the same in Ho'oponopono. When I'm cleaning my thoughts of what I'm thinking about someone, I cannot have an agenda for them to change. It wouldn't work. No, it's a setup. If I want them to change, it's a setup for me to be disappointed and think the law doesn't work. But the law works every time when you give without an agenda to receive. Because energy can't be destroyed. Energy just keeps moving. It doesn't stop. So you may give over here and then receive over here and not even notice it. So just there's a lesson in A Course in Miracles. To have, give all to all. Breathe that in. The ego hates this game because it's all about agenda. The ego doesn't do anything, our ego thoughts, without agenda. Constantly judging ourselves and others. It's involuntary, ongoing, never ending. Yeah. So just witness it. There's nothing wrong. That's the way the human mind is programmed. It's simple. It's like a biocomputer. There's nothing wrong there. Just allow the ego to do its things. Don't engage. Choose the other voice. Say thank you, no thank you, and listen carefully to the thought adjuster of the Holy Spirit, willing to run the law with you, that you are the giver, receiver, and that which is given every moment of your life. So I leave you with that thought, and Oh my goodness. We just spent a whole hour on this dialogue. And we have something going on here in the chat. Let me check this. Is that the same with physical pain? Physical pain shows up because the subconscious lack program is so deep. It's like the layers of maggots that I spoke about earlier. For months, I had no idea what was under the carpet. I thought the flies were laying eggs on top of the rug and they were finally hatching. There was something else going on at subconscious levels. It's the same with physical pain. Sometimes it's very challenging to find the shame or blame that is buried so deep for so long to let it go in the physical body. Yet it's just like water wearing down a stone over the years. CL, if you pursue in this training and you realize you come to the place where there's really nothing that you need to forgive yourself for because you've already been forgiven. And that was the whole idea, the whole essence of the crucifixion story was that someone else has already paid the bill on all the separation, which is what sin means, all the separation that we've created from God. So when you come to that place in yourself, and I'm working on this with my body as well, drawing in so much of the Father energy and feeling so loved by the Cosmic Father that it infiltrates the cells and alters the physical pain. Because who we are is not the body. The body is a communication device for spirit. We are spirit. And so in the Course, what is real, what is permanent, can't be threatened. What is unreal, temporary, doesn't exist. So once again, it goes back to the metaphor that we are all living a dream. Thank you, Spirit. And that's the bell for closing this session. So God bless you all, and I hope to see you next week. You can send in your questions or you can type them in the chat. And I'm blessing your practice of allowing the ego's voice and knowing it's not who you are and listening to that still, silent voice that is who you are instead. In other words, no shame, no blame, no guilt, no judgment for one whole day, if not a week. Catch yourself in it and flip it. Just flip it over. Oh, that person's so and so. Oh, and they also are light, just like me. Yeah. And, good targets for this is Trump, the war in Gaza, whatever it seems to upset your peace, that's where the work is to dissolve remove, absolve all judgment, opinions that are upsetting in your feeling body will bring you back to square one. And you can actually experience the peace that passes all understanding. Living in the moment, breathing in the moment, love into yourself, through yourself, and all your thoughts. God bless you. Have a great day. Until we meet again, ahui ho, malama pono.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Yay.
Yay! Be in your body.
Yeah, that's it. All
That's it.
right. Ahui ho,
Hallelujah.
malama pono. Take good care.